our secret sauce formula that we preach about a lot for people getting the best prints possible.
Exactly. We get asked this question all the time. How can I get prints like they get at the trade shows? In fact, Jeff, I wrote an article a couple of years ago about why don't my shirts look like the trade show shirts? And there's reasons for that. And so we have this formula, this index that will help you score what it is that, all the components in your printing process. And so if you score 50 points, it's going to be a perfect print. You're going to get a trade show quality print. If it's 40, you're probably above average. Just like in all types of decorating, they're good decorators. There are decorators that are a little less good.
Yeah, that's true.
So is that the political way to say it?
Yeah, that's the political way to say it. And I'd just like to point out, Terry, that, every job's a little bit different.
Oh, absolutely.
A 30 we have it as acceptable. It depends on what your client's expectations are.
Exactly. And one of the great things too, though, about direct to garment printing is once you dial it in, the process is exactly the same every single time. So
yeah.
So let's start going through the list here.
Yeah, let's talk about graphics. And I know we're going to have Dane Clement on here, a good friend of ours. We've all worked with him. We like Dane. He's going to talk more about graphics, but graphics is where it all starts. If you put garbage in, Terry, you're going to get garbage out. If you put quality in, you're going to get quality out. A 72 DPI thumbnail that you copied off of the internet because you did Google Images is probably going to look real stair-steppy. You're going to see the pixels when you enlarge it and you print that out on a shirt. The higher the DPI, the larger that picture, the better it's going to look on a shirt. So you can see the scale on there. And if you go to the top, 300 DPI at the size you want to print is going to look the best. And that's what you're really aiming for.
Jeff, and the thing about it is a direct to garment printer will duplicate perfectly what you've put into it. That 72 DPI file, it'll give you a perfect 72 DPI
That's right.
file.
It's not the printer, it's the graphics.
Right, exactly. So our next category is is your substrate. And the situation, like, I'm a longtime screen printer. I can pretty much screen print on anything, but in direct to garment printing, unlike any other decoration method, the substrate, the garment, has as much to do with the quality of your print as the ink, as the graphics. So it's important to have the right substrate. So at the bottom of our scale, we have 100% polyester. Now, can you print 100% polyester? You can. Should you? Maybe, maybe not. It's really something you have to dial in. You're going to have issues with curing. You're going to have issues with washability, that sort of thing. And then as we go up the scale, a 50-50. Can I get a decent print? I can get a decent print on a 50-50. Is it going to be great? Maybe not. And then as we go further up the scale, at the top is a 100% ring spun combed cotton. That is absolutely the best substrate. And 100% cotton's good. Ring spun cotton is better. Now we're going to be talking to some guests about the substrates that we're printing on, and we'll be able to kind of drill down a little bit on that. But if you want the perfect shirt, we're up there at the top on 100% ring spun combed cotton.
Perfect. All right. You've got your graphics, you got your substrate, Terry. You need a good pre-treat. And this is a conversation I have with a lot of people who are brand new and they've heard about pre-treat, but they've heard a lot of different things. Early on in the industry, Terry, people were using paint rollers to paint on pre-treat.
Exactly.
And I guess when it was brand new and that's all there was, that's what was used. But what we quickly found out is that can be very inconsistent, painfully wasteful, and just, you could put down too much, you could put down too little, you could miss in spots. So paint rollers are not ideal. I would say we have that on a 2. I'd almost make that a 0, but we have it on a 2 because people have done it. Power paint sprayer, this is a way that people get into the industry when they're on a budget and they can't afford a pre-treat machine. There's the Power Wagner sprayer. We offer that. You can get it from different sources, but the Power Paint sprayer is a way that you would hang the shirt up in your garage because you don't want it near your printer. We're going to talk more about pre-treating later. In fact, Roy and I are going to do a demonstration of that and talk more about what makes an ideal pre-treat. But at the high end of this spectrum is a closed pre-treat machine. This is ideal because you're going to have everything fully enclosed, so there's no misting out into the around your printer. You can have the pre-treat machine right next to the other equipment. It's going to put down the perfect amount every time. It's consistent, it's accurate, and so we have a closed pre-treat machine as a number 10.
Yeah, you know, I always called the paint roller the Hobby Lobby method of pre-treating.
The Hobby Lobby, I like that one.
Okay, the actual printing. You know, there are different things that you need to do with this printer because it's a kind of a fine-tuned instrument. And unlike, you know, in your screen printing shop where, you know, you've got a layer of dust in the windowsills, and you need to have a good environment. Environment's really important to the process. So, you know, the dirty, dusty screen printing shop or the embroidery shop with, you know, fuzz and lint in the air, not going to work out for you. Humidity is critically important to this process. If you go online and you see someone say that my printer just keeps going through these automatic cleanings all the time, it's humidity. You need that 40% plus humidity in the room, all the way up to number 10, do a nozzle check every single day. Make sure that you are ready to print and you've got a good flow of ink coming through your printer. So number 10 is a nozzle check.
Yeah, you know, I get a lot of people, Terry, ask me if we can do this in their garage. And I say, you know, it depends on your garage.
Sure.
You know, if you're in Arizona, that's going to be a dusty, dirty garage. You know, but if you're back east where you don't have as much dust and you can control that temperature and that humidity, it's fine. All right, our last category is curing. So, you know, this is super critical. This is the final stage. You got to make sure that you properly cure that ink. And if you do not have a good heat press or a conveyor dryer to do that, you may not have enough temperature. You may not have put the right pressure on there. And then you go to wash that print, Terry, and it could just wash out.
Exactly.
So on the low end of this spectrum is a cheap heat press where the temperature isn't accurate and maybe your temperature is too low or it's too hot. And so that would be your number 2. But in between, we have heat presses. We have, you go all the way up to number 10 and you would have a professional heat press like the one we have behind us, which is a Geonite. We actually like the clamshell with the automatic release. That way, if you're working on something and the heat press is done, you don't have to run over and pop it up. It's going to pop up for you like a toaster. Or a conveyor dryer. And I'll tell you what, Terry, I'm getting a lot of people asking and purchasing conveyor dryers. We're going to be talking to our good friend Paul over at Vastex about that a little bit later.
Right, exactly. And you know, when people look at DTG and they say, well, it's more of a hobbyist type print. Well, that's because something in this process they've done incorrectly. So, you know, as Jeff said, get a professional heat press. You know, we get on a soapbox about it, but you know, when somebody tells us they have washability issues, well, what kind of heat press do you have? Well, it doesn't have a name on it. It's orange. You know, and let me guess,
China.
right? Let me guess, you paid $325 for it. Nope,
Yeah.
talking down to $295. But you know, a good quality heat press is going to run you, you know, $1,600 or more. But on the plus, Jeff, 20 years from now, you'll have that same heat press in your shop.
That's right.
Now, everybody that is logged in here, that's registered with us, is going to get this as a PDF. And are we, Jay, ready to go to Dane or?
Yeah, so we appreciate everybody's patience as we work through a couple of technical difficulties. And now we're ready to switch things over to Jay Bassell.
If we can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead and take it away, Jay.